The conviction of reckless driving of the current mayor detracts from the honor of this office and has caused embarrassment to the city of Grand Island. The mayor was wrong in his personal conduct. Second, my parents taught me many years ago, two wrongs do not make a right. Removal from office, or stated differently, impeachment, is the wrong path to take for our city for the following reasons. First, the cost to taxpayers that may potentially rise to $250,000 in legal fees if a trial and appeals take place. The council cannot simply put its toe in the water. The city either dives into the pool of litigation tonight and the money meter begins to run on attorney fees, or it stays out of the pool. The allegation of misconduct is that the mayor endangered his life and the lives of others. But an impeachment of the mayor will likely not be upheld on appeal. I urge the council to vote no because the months and years of costly litigation and a removal verdict will likely not be upheld on appeal. There is important business to be done by our city, such as retaining the Nebraska Veterans Home in the face of tough competition. A misconduct trial will divert time, resources, money, and handicap our city's ability to do what is truly necessary to benefit the citizens of our community.
If policy decisions are to endure, they need to be well thought out, and the long-term consequences of any action given careful consideration. First offense, driving to endanger, is a pretty low standard for removing a duly elected mayor. Frankly, driving here tonight was dangerous, yet we all did it. I have serious reservations about this procedure as policy, and even more serious reservations about this as a precedent for the future. If you remove this mayor, will you remove the next one when he or she does something you don't like? Because all mayors are human, and like you, they will make mistakes. Enough mistakes, and they don't get reelected. The election process is the method we have for removing politicians who do not meet our standards. I believe you should let the election process work. Decisions made by elected officials are justified by principle, by rigorous debate, and the political process. What is the principle involved here? How rigorous has your debate been? And what political process is established by setting aside an election? I urge you to vote no on Resolution 2013-108.
Our office in the last few days, last week, has conducted extensive legal research in the area of misconduct of elected and or public officials. And from the research we have conducted, we simply state that Mr. Vavricek's, or Mayor Vavricek's plea of no contest to reckless driving, which we have to focus on, that being the only charge that was filed against him by the Howard County Attorney, would not meet the legal standard of misconduct of an elected official under any conceivable definition that we can find. And I think the council should consider that, because if the resolution is adopted, you can be certain it will mount vigorous defense to the charges filed, and we're going to focus on the definition that we already have admission is a nebulous piece of legislation.
The residents are tired of the drama that the mayor has brought on himself and continues to inflict on the city. You have let the city down that calls you mayor after a very close recall failed by 177 signatures. I was hoping for a new start. Obviously, I was too hopeful. Saying you're embarrassed and sorry and paying the fine was simply not enough. you, sir, are held to a higher standard, higher than the rest of us. I think you need to seriously consider your actions. You could have hit or killed someone, and then where would we be? The part I find the most concerning is this the first time you have driven under the influence, or is this just an isolated incident? If the council votes yes, you accept the council's vote, and you take what dignity you have left and leave. Thank you very much.
We have heard, we're making amends, we're making amends, we're making amends, we're making amends. Enough is enough. I think that Rob did, or Mike did a real good job of bringing this forward. And I think that you ought to go forward with this. Don't be intimidated by the lawyers. 224 is tough. It needs to be changed, but it is the law now. .08 is the law now, not .93. That used to be the law 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I don't know. .10 was the law years ago, but it's the law now. 224 is the law now. It needs change, you bet. That city code needs change. Tweak it later on. You don't need to tweak now. That's what you're doing now. Yep. Jay wants to stop it. He can leave that chair empty. He wants to save the money, leave the chair empty. We went without a fire chief, or fire chief for a year and a half, or over a year. That's about all the term he's got left. That would be great. That would save the city a lot of money.
I encourage you all to vote yes tonight for the purpose of this. Listening to some of the testimonies here, I think people are mistaking a good person that the mayor is with being a poor leader. And in this example, this is poor leadership. This is setting a poor example for our youth that buzz driving is okay, especially if you know who to speak to. That drunken driving is apparently, we can do it 50 times prior to, but until you get caught that one time, it's no big deal. Or it's a mistake that we shouldn't do it, especially after Husker games or anything like that. But otherwise, until you get caught, again, no big deal. I would ask that this council be more proactive rather than reactive. That the slippery slope that by voting yes for this, that this would cause for removing elected officials, yes, it would maybe potentially cause a slippery slope for future elected officials. However, this incident, in my opinion, is enough to, it has created the slope in itself in conjunction with Mrs. Brown and your hiring and rescinding the resignation, as well as a fire going, 10 months without a fire chief, as just three main examples of why this mayorship has already gone on a slope. So again, I encourage you all to vote yes for this proposal.